Hello.
You've got to have that as an outtake at the end.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hello. That was the worst intro I've done. You can tell I've not been in a while. Jimjamatic here. Welcome to another episode of Robot Wars episode reviews. I'm back because life decided to not let me do anything for a while. I'm here now, and I am joined by my good old rambling co-star. Would you like to make yourself known?
And it's a 9132. I'm back
He's
in
here.
black. I'm here. Actually, I'm wearing blue at the moment, so that doesn't even make any sense.
That's a complete lie. What are you doing?
It is.
You're trying to we're trying to.
Oh my god, I'm such a liar. Like, oh my god.
He's also from Bristol, apparently.
Yeah.
But so it's nice to be back. It's been a while. Hopefully you like the new thumbnail format that I've decided to use, and of course just little jokey titles as well. I mean,
it's taken him a whole month to do that.
It has, yes. I mean, the old thumbnails weren't that good, so I just got bored one day. I thought, you know what, I need to really make these look better. So I did like a binge and did them all in one go. So that's cool. I think we should probably get into actual heat actually, because it's been give all 90 odd subscribers I have.
Yeah, the one robot heat that this is, because let's be honest, it is a one robot heat.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, because it's a very unfortunate heat. Because I mean, it's not a bad heat. I mean, thankfully there's no actual real bullshit in this episode. It's more just normal Series 2-ness.
Yes.
It's
heat. There you go.
Yeah, eat H. So we might as well start with the one robot show, which is Casius.
Yes.
Yay! Because for some reason I've noticed the ones like involving like Robot and Panic Attack tend to get a lot more views on my channel than the other ones, and Casius hopefully might bring some more in.
Yeah, you might break 50.
Oh, thanks. And Casius is quite a cool robot. I mean, I actually kind of respect Rex Garrett a lot more than the actual. Like, I do like Casius, but at the same time, it has its faults. This Casius, admittedly, for being a serious grand finalist. What are you gonna say something? Sorry?
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it has its faults.
I mean, I think the biggest problem I have with it is the fact that if you notice the amount of times it just lifts upwards. Like early Firestorm, it just seems to want to stay on the ground for more than 2 seconds.
Yeah. I will say this about Casius. Before everybody gets their pitchforks out, all right, again, their flaming torches. I do like Casius, but I do think it is a little bit of an overrated machine. Which we'll get to. Oh, we can say that again. We'll get to that.
Oh, God, many times.
I just think it got a bit lucky as the series went on, but like I said, we will get to that in the future, or James will with whoever the hell he's doing a thing with at that point in time.
I'm sure we'll get. I'm sure. The odds are it's going to be you or Sam at some point, probably.
Yes.
They're the one who can appear the most. But yeah, I like Casius, but I think one thing. I think this is just a personal taste when it comes to robots. Is that while it's oddly enough actually, my favorite robot is Firestorm. Which I think definitely, it's oddly enough, it is coincidentally in the heat in some other form, and they seem to have definitely drawn some inspirations from Casius. Clearly, when they made Firestorm, I think apart from Firestorm and Casius, I can't think of any other really successful front hinge flippers out there. I mean, I think
I guess Recyclops counts because that was that was a front hinge flipper on a tongue.
I suppose
it made the final.
It never actually flipped a single robot. It just flipped Matilda over.
Yes.
It never. I mean, it ran into Scrapper.
It pushed Scrapper over, didn't it? Yeah.
Actually, the Scrapper ran into it. In fairness, but I think front hinge flippers. I think their biggest problem is that they do have. You need a lot. You need to actually get your robot onto the flipper, as opposed to a rear hinge flipper, where you literally just get the front of your wedge in. And then you can start flipping like Chaos 2 would, and every other
would you count
flipper.
Mute as a successful front hinge?
I think Mute. I mean, it made a semi-final and also high in the New Blood. So
it came second in the New Blood. I think Mute is an overrated machine, but it's still successful technically. So.
It's all about the overrated front hinge flipper machines today.
Firestorm is the only front hinge flipper that's good. There we go. Anyway.
It's my favorite one. So
it's my favorite robot as well. So there we go.
Oh, we have so much in common, don't we?
Yes, but back to Casius, good robot in my opinion. Best of the series. Everybody kept on thinking it was like the best robot of the series. I disagree personally, but I do think it was still a good robot. And Rex Garrett is always a class act, so there we go.
I love Rex Garrett. It's such a shame that the BBC production are so rubbish at keeping people alive.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for them fucking up 2 years in a row, apparently, apparently they fucked up in the Series 2 as well, but not as bad as Series 3.
Yeah,
So,
well, Series 2 happened. What happened was a Hardvark, I think it was.
actually, I heard it was
coming out.
I heard it was Pandemonium, but I'm not confirmed about that.
No. Series 2 I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. I think, was that in Series 3?
Series 3 was more Pandemonium.
Oh, that was the one that. Okay, I'll get mixed up with the 2.
Yeah. Series 2 Hardvark. I think it was Hardvark. I'm not too sure, but a robot apparently went berserk while it was entering the arena, and I think drove off.
Oh no, I know which one it is. That is a Rotor Osh, I believe it was. The one in the super heavyweight, a massive hammer thing. Yeah, I'll get a picture of that. I think it's freaky looking, this thing. Admittedly, it's weird. I mean, we'll never get around much to talk about. Might as well talk about it now, I guess, this brief time, because we're never going to talk about it again, probably. But it had a massive hammer thing. It just kind of started, wouldn't stop. Then it started up, went everywhere, crashed into a barrier or something, and they had to stop it.
Broke the barrier, yeah.
And that's the only reason Siren got through, because it was, it couldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
So
that's what happened there, and then obviously in Series 3, someone dropped more Pandemonium, and its spike shot into someone's leg.
Ouch.
That had to hurt.
Yeah, it's a shame actually. 'Cause it's a shame because I mean they cancelled a few events in Series 3 because of the accident. Like there was a super heavyweight, I think, or some of the middleweight.
Super heavyweight, sumo, an actual full-on middleweight championship, not just a middleweight melee.
Yeah, that was quite. We'll get to that one, but that was a very disappointing fight in events. That was pretty boring.
Lightweight battle, I think, was one of them as well. There was a few. Yeah. Even a tag team terror was done planned for Series 3.
Wow, so much.
Believe it or not, Millian Bug and Agent Orange were supposed to be a team in that.
That would have been hilarious. I'll say it was not as funny as Invertebrate and Exterminator, to be honest. That's one of the weirdest combinations of roles in my life. Like how those two met, I don't know.
well, like you said, like Peter from Invertebrate said, he went to Hereford.
Wow.
So we decided to team up for tag. There you go. That's exactly what he said.
Well, in that case, why didn't Behemoth and Exterminator join? Because they're called Pritchard.
Yes.
No other reason why. It makes more sense. Makes just much sense.
And also, it's ironic you say that because in the tag team episode of Series 4, Stuart McDonald, the announcer, actually said from Hartford.
Oh.
Exterminator.
That guy is not. This is the guy who couldn't say Dan Tomkier, so it's fair enough. We'll get off the subject of Casius, and I think we'll change tack to the runner-up of the heat, which is not a bad robot. Just it's a Series 2 robot that gets through because it's good. It works, not because it's actually any good. Loco.
Yes. Well, like you said, it passed the test. It could move forwards.
It was the most reliable robot apart from Casius in this heat. Why it made the heat final.
Yes, that is literally it. That is the only reason.
I will say,
that and it was also one of two robots in the heat semi-finals that didn't go into the PPZ.
Yes. One thing I will say about Loco is, I mean, yes, it's not the best robot in the world. I'll fully admit that. It's one of those robots I don't really mind because it was actually well driven, considering. Like it was the children driving it, wasn't it?
Yes, the kids were drivers. Yeah.
What a great driver that kid was. I mean, he actually got the first goal in the football, and actually didn't really fuck up at any point. It was just. Yeah, it was unlike the kid who drove Demolisher. It just went everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, and it's in his defence, in the defence of Loco as well. It was an okay robot. It literally, in general, was just an okay robot, in my opinion. Like, there were much, much, much worse robots in this series. This was actually probably, I'd say, in the higher end of the spectrum.
I would say it was worthy of being a heat finalist at least, because it wasn't. I mean, in a different heat, it probably could have won. Oddly enough. Especially like in the last heat or the first heat of the series, it probably could have easily won it. But the one thing I don't get about Loco is what is the weapon? I don't know what it is. I mean, it's supposed to be like a spike, but it doesn't have any spikes on it. It's just like a little pusher.
It's like a little springy pokey thing, isn't it? Really,
it's a little annoyance at most, really.
It's where Spam took their influence for their weapon from.
Oh no! Spam at least actually had something. I mean, it's
well, it turned, yeah, I suppose.
No, I mean, nothing can get worse than the front thing on the pièce de résistance, the scoop, whatever it's supposed to be, or the little drill on Talk of the Devil, which I still don't get what that was supposed to be.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, Loco's just kind of there. It's not a bad robot. It's just there are better robot there was a better robot that beat it. In the end of the day,
Yeah.
really. And
Also, fair play to the kids. They actually took a loss well.
actually, I like kids that can do that. I mean, there are a few kids in the series actually that do take it quite well. And actually, as much as I don't know why people didn't like Joe Watts. I found him fine personally.
It was Ellie who was the pain in the ass.
That shouldn't really bother me. I think because I kind of forgave her because she was a little kid. But even like in the very first series that Joe was in, which is the next series, he didn't really. He took it quite well, surprisingly. I mean, I'll give him fair play. He didn't like he didn't get through because he cried a bit and he got in. No, he just got in because the other team. Well, actually, if I think the other team actually had to leave, I think or something. I think that's the reason why they gave it up, partially because they didn't believe it.
I think it was a case of they weren't expecting to make it through to the semi-finals.
That's something you should.
They only booked like a certain amount of time off work, and when they were like, "Oh shit, we're doing the series semi-finals now."
Considering all tour worked, they shouldn't have. And they should have realized what series they were entering. This was series 3, where Robo Pig could win a battle. So yes, I think you're fine. I think you're fine. I mean, I can't wait for Series 3. There's so many rubbish robots I want to talk. I love how, like, unlike Series 5, where just at that point it's sort of annoying. By Series 3 is like the last series, well, forgive it. By Series 4, it's like, no, you can't enter it. You can't enter Banshee anymore. This is stupid. This is dumb.
At least that looks good.
That's it. But I think we've covered Loco sufficiently well.
As well as several other robots.
Here's the thing. Like, which of the two do I pick? Both of these are fun. Let's just go for Wizard. 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 I love how rubbish this thing is. I love it.
Right, its performance magical.
Oh, brilliant. I mean, this thing broke in every round apart from the gauntlet. And even then Dead Metal decided to cut its hat in half.
Yes.
Which is, I love this. It's like Whirling Dervish. It had no idea where it was going the entire time. But driving into the pit still managed to get it further than Rampage. I love it.
I tell you what, this is a robot that is literally just purely for fun. And
I love it.
In my opinion, it's actually one of the more underrated robots that's purely for fun. Because, everybody, says, oh, Dietor, that was one of them, Plunderbird towards the end of their run, they were mainly there for a laugh, so was a Chrome a lot. Robo Chicken is literally a robot that was built for comedy value. But no one ever mentions the Witch these days, and it is a shame because I felt that one was definitely, by an artistic standpoint, one of the better looking ones. And I just love the fact that, especially in Series 3, when he got his daughter as like an actual witch, bless her, she was trying to drive the robot. I mean, that I thought was also pretty cool.
I wonder if she wanted to do it. she's a bit pensive.
And this is actually one of the few things I don't know about robots. I don't know if they ever tend to try and come back again. And if they didn't,
they didn't. No, they didn't compete again. They didn't enter again.
So what? They didn't even like.
No. Yeah. They just went for Series 2 and 3, I believe.
Which is a shame because it would have been nice to have seen them come back again with what else they could have. See what else they could have come up with that was fun and entertaining in the arena.
I love about it though is the fact they made this round robot, and I think originally it wasn't supposed to have the hat on it. I think it was supposed to be like a round, just a cylinder robot with like some weapons on it, like a Chromalot in a sort of way. And they thought we gotta make it more unique, and I'm so glad they did because that would have been a really boring design if it was just a circle, just a cake tin.
Yes.
Oh, it's so. I can't. It's like PS Resistance. It's not the best robot ever, but I can't really hate it. Because it's just it's a joke from the start, so you can't really go, oh, it's terrible. You know it is. It's like Psycho Sprout or something like that. Again, I can't really hate this thing. It's just not gonna. It's not gonna well.
It's like hating Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Exactly. To be honest, it really is. There's no point of you're not gonna win. But we'll get more to how Wizard doesn't do anything in this heat, but we'll get to a very surprising robot next, because I mentioned Firestorm before. This is Firestorm. I'm just going to say this now. This is Groundhog. Yep. This is them. If you don't believe it, yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't blame you. Yeah, this is. Oh my. Oh.
Way to make a pig's ear of it. Groundhog, pig's ear. No, sorry.
Joe, this is hands down one of the worst starts for a successful team.
What I will say though is again. On a unique aspect.
Oh yeah, it's unique as hell.
It's very unique. I mean, this thing had the kind of driving that Razor went on to have before Razor had it. With the
Omni
with
wheels,
the rear wheels, casters. So of course it could like drift.
Yeah, they're called Omni wheels, I believe.
That's the one, Omni wheels. That's the one.
They're very. It's a really cool robot. I just don't get why they designed it so awkwardly. That's the thing. If it was like a normal, if the body was lower, honestly, I don't think it would just be there. But it's the fact that they made it like a weird daddy long legs. lurching around.
Yeah, I think the reason why is because they noticed a lot of people got stuck on ramps and things in
they couldn't
Series
even
1
drive up
and
the
Brit,
ramp.
So they decided, let's make it so we can like alter the ground grid. So in the gauntlet we can go up things and over things, no problem. And then in the battles we can lower ourselves down. Problem is, in the actual battles they were in, they didn't lower themselves down.
Never. What I think they barely did it. I think it's the fact they tried to go for something like Elvis, maybe, but with a whole body. Except the thing is, if you notice when it goes in the gauntlet, it can't even go up the ramp because its wheels, Omni wheels, don't let it do it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I will admit this was also just goes to show how much better Alex and Graham became at driving Firestorm.
It's amazing. I mean, I'm not saying I think Firestorm in Series 3, unlike in the other series, I think it took a while to show how good the driving was. It was a good robot, but I think the point where I realised it was such a good robot when it was a great driving skill is when it decked Panic Attack. That hit in Series 3.
That little swoop in as it got flipped up.
To me, that was
guess what, right? That was Alex Mordew driving there.
Wow,
I
just
want to say this now, right? Okay, everybody mentions Graham Bone, and I agree, he's one of the best drivers ever. No one ever mentions Alex Mordew. Remember, they used to swap drivers every match.
Yeah, and I'll say, Alex, if you're listening to this, I'll give you absolutely, a massive cookie, internet cookie, for that, because that was hands down one of my favourite moments Firestorm's ever done. That was like, that was the moment where I realised I liked Firestorm. Like until it was like good flipper, and then that was the moment where it had the driving skill as well. It was like the first match against. When Winnie Wig Cheese got tossed against Chaos 2, I knew I liked this robot.
Yeah.
And he can flip Sonic or Crocodiletron, but to flip that thing, yeah. And but Groundhog it's like an interesting experiment at best. At worst, it's a weird Daddy Longlegs with Omni wheels. With a saw I love the fact the saw never actually touched anything ever. It's just there.
It just existed.
It's just a great robot. Again, I can't hate anything. It's just this heat hasn't got like a horrible robot in it at any point. It's just awkward at most.
I mean, in all honesty, I wouldn't call this a horrible or bad robot anyway, because it did actually bring some originality to it.
Yeah.
Good originality, but at least it was something.
I think that's what Dave said on the most recent when we did the celebrity podcast. He said he doesn't mind he doesn't care if the robot's not perfect. He wants an interesting robot, more. Prioritized. And again, this is sort of an example of one. It's not good, but it's not. It's interesting. It's just really nice to see.
It breaks up the form instead of everybody. Because if everybody entered a perfect robot, then it would be bloody dull quickly. I mean, it's like, for example, I turn around and moan and say, this robot's the worst or whatever, and I don't. This is my least favorite or whatever. But I would never turn around and say I don't want them in the show.
No, I'd never say that.
Simply because they still make it interesting. I mean, like, for example, Fat Boy Tin in Series 4.
Oh my god, I love Fat Boy Tin.
It was rubbish, I don't like it, but at the same time, I'm happy to turn around and say, it made that heat a lot more interesting because, well, look at it.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, there's that debate, I mean, I'll say I don't like a robot, but at no point am I going to tell you should never enter it. Enter whatever the hell you want to do. It's your robot.
Exactly.
But, I mean, I just love how... I think that's the problem, with the newer series. I like the new series, but it's getting to that point where it's so refined, we get less robots that look amateurish, I guess. While in the older series, you can still get away with sending things like Groundhog in. Just see what happens, or send in...
Scorpion in Series 4.
Oh, I love... let's never talk about it until the actual series.
Yes.
It got slightly better over time, but, the first one. Now I just realised what the next robot is. Because we were talking about Firestorm coming in, and from this humble beginning, another robot that took quite a while to get started. To be honest, Sting. It had two versions, both of which didn't really do very well, and then boom, S3 Series 5, just out of nowhere. To me, it's the same. It reminds me of, in some ways, Ironside 3. You see Mighty Mouse, you see Velociraptor, it just sort of drives around the arena, dies, or just gets flipped over or something. It's like, this is just a dumb little robot. And then Ironside, boom. Right, what was that, Chompalot? Do you want some side armor? No.
Yeah.
Pulsar, one hit, kill Pulsar.
Like, Trevor, baby, where were you? What were you doing all those years?
This is why I love Robot Wars, because you get these people, you get the people who are consistently good, like Chaos 2, you get the sort of people who just kind of fade over time, like Mortis or something, and then you get people who just come out of nowhere and give you something so fantastic. And this is one of the examples, because Sting is not a bad robot. It's just Series 2 worthy robot. It's not bad. I think the problem is that I think it looks too similar to. In some ways, it looks very similar to Technophobic, the armor-wise. That kind of grey panel with the kind of, as Jonathan Pierce described it, a concertina stepladder on wheels, which is a funny way of describing it. If you saw it face on, I wouldn't be able to tell what the hell it was. But
another thing I'd like to say is, again, I hate to sound like a broken record here, but because I said this 3 times in a row now, but this is actually quite an original robot because of its weapon.
Oh, the weapon's funny.
You never really saw a weapon like that before or after, really. I mean, I don't think you can count Bigger Brother's mace. Cause this is literally a stinging tail.
No, mace was more like an mace. The thing on Big Brother was more like an anglerfish rod. More than I mean, the funniest thing I love about Sting 2, its successor in Series 3, who got beaten by Deator. It shows you how good it was. Was the fact that I love the fact the tail looks so camp in Series 3. It's like it just flicks like Series 2 one's just sort of like it barely moves. You don't see it used that often, but in Series 3 you see it just dink against Deator, and it's just like it's funny.
Hi guys.
Yeah, oh I love it. I absolutely love it.
What material is this Deator? Like, oh my god, it's so soft. It's beautiful.
Have you got a new change of fur?
Yes. Oh. By the way, just to clarify, we have nothing against
hey,
people at all.
hey, mate. I don't think people would think with that.
Let's hope not. Let's really hope not.
I don't really care at all. I mean, yeah, if you get offended by us doing that, you haven't been on the internet long enough.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Clearly, if that's the most offensive thing you've seen in your life. I was making fun of a tail of a robot from Series 3.
Mate, watch an episode of Family Guy and I'll hear your jaw hit the ground. Right, there we go.
Never again. But, I mean, Sting, to its credit, it just got... I don't know what happened to it in the trials, but it's a shame, because I think if it hadn't done that, Wizard would have gone out, and it would have had I'd love to see them go against Casius. That'd been quite interesting. Because it's quite low. It's quite low to the ground, so I don't think Casius would have got underneath it.
With me, Sting is a robot I actually really do like, in all honesty. I mean, it's not like anyone in my top 10 or my top 15, but it's a robot that I really do like, just at both the Series 2 and 3 versions, because they both, in my opinion, look pretty cool, especially the Series 3 version.
Oh, I was going to say, the Series 3 one, I love. I mean, this is a thing. If you're a robot here entering for future series, maybe you might think of the Series 3, possibly, that might come out in the near future, hopefully. Please do it, BBC. Right, if you want to get on my good side, make a robot look like it's come out of a scrapyard. I love that look. Like, it's sort of why I liked Ironside 3. It looked kind of like dirty and kind of like it's just been pulled out of a scrap heap, and I like that. Like, it's not brightly coloured like PB3D or something, or Carbide. It just looks like it's been made in someone's shed. And I love Sting 2 for that reason. Like, Sting 1 looks okay, but Sting 2, it looks like a little exoskeleton, like some kind of alien thing. It's just a shame it didn't function. It wasn't very good, because I would love to have seen it done well. If it was faster, Spikes could have done something. But it was quite slow throughout its runs. And then S3 came along and thought, we'll just have Stinger make babies with Hypnodisc, and we'll make S3. That is what S3 is. It is a cross between Hypnodisc and Stinger, but every single best quality possible came from it.
Yes.
Although I'm still impressed that Firestorm managed to flip it out of the arena. That was an amazing flip. From a front hinge flipper, considering.
Because Firestorm is Bay.
Yeah, and that's just connections. This heat's connected, you see. And
can't wait to do 3.
There's one more connection later on, which we'll mention when they get to the fight, but spoilers, It doesn't end well both times. And then last, my God, the only non-returning robot in this heat. Such a shame, because they got I think they got screwed the most out of, apart from maybe Caliban.
Yeah.
Rampage. The wedge that doesn't touch the ground, a classic. Disc added onto it randomly, check. This is a Series 2 robot. You know, that's at least 2 of the checks I have.
It breaks down under mild pressure, check.
Yeah, that's a Series 5 robot.
Well, I will admit, it looked very, very pretty.
I like it. I think it's such a shame how it went. It's one of those things I wish I had come back again, because I think if they made it a bit lower, like a lower wedge, like it could have been like a kind of bigger version of like La Machine or something.
Yeah, you see, this what kind of whacks me up a little bit, because, okay, first of all, I'm going to say this now, I don't blame the Mortis team for the Mortis scandal. It wasn't their fault. It's producer bias at its finest. Don't worry, guys. Okay, I'm still on Team Mortis, but it does annoy me that Rampage got screwed over by the spike here, and they said that's it, bye.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
get screwed over by the spike, and they're like, mate, you're having another go. Even though Rob Knight said, nah, fam, ain't happening, isn't it, blood? He probably didn't say it like that, but
no.
Sorry, I'm not chewing gum enough. Hang on. Sorry.
Jesus.
God, he always had gum in his mouth, didn't he? Anyway, but yeah, it just annoys me how that happened there, but it's just inconsistencies again, and it does really rip me off. But yeah, and if everybody does hate Mortis for that thing, do your research.
Yeah, it wasn't even its fault.
Their fault.
Yeah, it's like one thing. I know this is a slight tangent, but it's slightly annoying because there's not much to talk about Rampage, honestly. I think it's probably the side rant. Like the side rant. This is one thing I don't get is that remember in Series 7. Remember, let's cast our mind back to the good old Storm 2 controversy. Love it.
Oh, God.
Right.
They actually, I swear to God, you could actually write a full-on hard and soft back copy of a book.
Probably. But here's the thing though. This is one thing. I agree. Everything about Storm 2 was bad. Everything that happened to it was bad. I'm not gonna. That's the part I'm not disagreeing with. The part I don't understand is that when Typhoon 2 were given the award, people kept saying they should give it back to Storm 2 because they didn't deserve it. Yeah, they should have called the producers out on it. How is it their fault?
Yeah.
How is it their fault the producers are being horrible?
Also, let's just turn around and screw over an entire day's worth of filming, an entire series worth of filming. I don't know. I'm saying no, we're not taking it. They deserved it.
Yeah, and also it's the same with like the the Dominator 2 Hypnodisc battle. It's not Hypnodisc's fault that RefBot didn't count them out.
Come in and count them out. Yeah.
It's clear that Dominator 2 was not functioning.
Oh yeah. That one really. That is one of the most annoying.
And people start.
Because, RefBot, what are you doing, lad? Come on.
Yeah, and people start blaming Hypnodisc like, oh, they should have gone in for the kill. But I'm sorry. It's
It's respect. It's respect at the end of the day. Because not being funny, right? I know people can turn around and say, "Oh yeah, it just should have gone in for the kill." But as far as they're concerned, Dominator 2 was a mobile.
Yeah.
RefBot should have come in and counted them out. Hypnodisc never. Well, okay, they did sometimes. Splinter, go in after the robot was already dead.
Yeah.
But with Dominator 2, it's a different story because. It's not a different story, but what I'm trying to say is basically they had a lot of respect for Dominator 2.
I think
not to say they didn't respect Splinter. It's just that Splinter was already wrecked as it was before it stopped moving. So they thought, well, it's already wrecked. Let's do a little bit more to it.
Also, I imagine because sometimes with Hypnodisc, the other team would allow them to destroy it if they're given permission, a bit like with Razorblade, don't hurt them too much or something, that kind of thing. I don't know if the Splinter team said we don't mind if we go all out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Razorblade team didn't mind either. It was just a case of.
Imagine Razorblade was dead in the water, in fairness. So I don't think.
But Razorblade turned around and said, "No, we're just going to chuck it out there and let them do whatever they want to." But this team were like, "Well, no, you're sacrificing an already dead robot for us. The least we could do is do it a little bit." And they just gently knocked the side off, gently just dusted it away. I was like, "Oh yeah, that'll do."
Yes, that's all it needed. But back to Rampage. I forgot this thing. The thing about Rampage is, I think honestly, it's probably one of the most forgettable robots of Series 2, which is a shame because it didn't really do anything. It never at one point really shined. It just ran over a spike.
Well, it was very shiny. It did shine.
Oh yeah, but so was Cerberus, and Cerberus is beautiful.
Cerberus is a porn star out in a robot's body. Anyway, what was I saying? Right. So basically, Rampage, that's not us turning. When we say it was a forgettable robot, it's not us turning around saying that the robot in itself was forgettable, because I think if it actually did get a chance to prove itself and go up there, it would have been quite a memorable machine. It's just unmemorable because literally all that happened was it drove forwards, got spikes, and that was it.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. And don't get me wrong, that's not us turning around and having a go at it. That's just us turning around and saying, at the end of the day, it was forgettable because its performance didn't really live up to much.
Actually, my question is, how powerful are spikes? It broke the entire drive system on one side. How the hell? Actually, I was watching it today, and I think I actually might know what happened. I don't think it broke the system. I think it actually bent the wheel slightly.
Yeah.
If you notice it's spinning round, the wheel is not lined to the rest of the body. So I think it might have just broke the wheel hub slightly and bent it in. But what a bad way to go.
Though. What a way to go. Literally, it's just something so devastating yet so simple as
well. I'm really hoping it was filmed in the same order, because imagine that, after all that, you spent all that months of work making Rampage, it breaks after 2 seconds, and then Wizard drives in the pit and gets further than you. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that straight after, it's like, oh, fuck, we should have just done that.
Yeah.
It's like when Plunderbird did it, except Plunderbird kind of did it in a comical way. This is just like, salt in the wound.
Plunderbird knew that they were far enough, and they were like, yeah, let's just do it.
Yeah. But honestly,
that I think is a nice little segue onto the gauntlets, isn't it?
yeah. There's not such about the gauntlet, thankfully, because there's no horrible house robot, nastiness like normal.
There's only really two things to discuss about the gauntlet. One, we've already mentioned it, the dismal and very unfortunate end to Rampage, and then the other thing, of course, is to kill a lot.
Falling over.
Arse over boobs.
This is the thing. One thing I found quite funny is that Jonathan Pearson and other people hyped up saying, "Oh, Groundhog destroyed it." No, it overbalanced. That was the only reason. It wasn't Groundhog. Groundhog was not doing anything in the air. Yeah, I was gonna. It was so attacking with a little saw. Yeah, that was so. It's the fact it leaks as well. It basically like piss itself basically. Oh, so funny. Just like Sakilot's gonna do his normal thing. Nope. I love how far imagine another heat. Groundhog would be out in the first round. Like it's like 4 point something meters. I don't know, something like that. It was a terrible distance, but what an amazing event to happen.
Exactly. I mean, I wouldn't really class that as a defeat of Sakilot, more of just a complete balls up from Sakilot, to be honest. But that's just me.
Was it Panic Attack or Roadblocks got pinball in the semi-finals where he drove into the pit?
I believe it was. Actually, I believe it was actually Mortis's. Actually.
Oh, Mortis. Yeah, that was funny because I love that.
I remember seeing a picture on the wiki, because someone was writing a blog and trying to prove that Mortis. I think they were trying to basically turn around and A, defend Mortis in the Mortis scandal, and B, prove that Mortis actually did maybe get enough points. Because they said that they made 100 and something, didn't it?
I don't.
And he actually showed a picture of the 75-point target with Mortis next to it and showed it was lit up. Whilst a lot was in the pit, so that's how I know that. There you go.
Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, again, it's sort of like blaming Mortis for that, saying, "Oh, Mortis killed Sakilot." No, it didn't. Same thing here. Groundhog didn't kill it. It just bad driving, as is usual for the earlier series of Robots, particularly in Series 1 with Shunt. But actually, Shunt doesn't get away with it in Thunderbird Heat. Oh God, he can't drive in that. Andy
drunk almost most of that series, wasn't it? I swear to God.
His worst moment was definitely Killertron in the King of the Castle. He drove off twice.
Yes,
twice. And one time he drove off and then drove back. He drove backwards off, and then the second let's go forward this time. Nope, go sideways. Well done. Oh, and people wonder why the child went.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. But I think apart from that, really, nothing else. I mean, yeah, everyone else's runs are pretty standard for the most part. Apart from Wizard driving in the pit and the cat getting hacked in half. That was fun. That was very fun.
Now it's time for the soccer.
And hands down, the worst soccer match ever.
Oh, God.
This was abysmal.
It had some flashy driving by two of them, didn't it? Casius and Loco.
The two that worked in the entire episode. Yeah, of course those two make it verse. I mean, a lot of people forget, because normally like the bigger, best robot gets the first goal, Robot the Bruce got it, then you get, obviously Razor got the first one, then it's like, no, it's Loco got the first one. Interesting. Then it's Casius, and then everyone else just didn't think the goal existed.
Yeah, Sting and...
Sting broke down.
Witch broke down, and Groundhog just spun on the spot for a while. I can't remember. Did Groundhog score?
No, it didn't. Also, you just said Witch like a second ago.
Oh, did I say Witch?
Yeah, the same thing almost in a way, but yeah. Oh yeah, no, Groundhog didn't score because Matilda flipped it over. For no other reason than Groundhog was doing fuck all. Because Groundhog can't hit the ball. It can't. I just love that. God. Imagine.
Matilda was so bored, she's just like, sod this.
Imagine if I was the producer, I'd be thinking, this is not going to be a good one. We've got two robots that are competent. There's one robot that's, that actually, Sting could have actually hit the ball quite well. And then you've got two robots one that's round.
So she's going to deflect the ball off it, and one that's got a ground clearance that's bigger than the ball.
I just can't believe what they were expecting. It was good I thought it was between Wizard and Groundhog if I was watching this for the first time now. But then Sting unfortunately had to break down and let these two through because
I think these robots would have all been much better off in the Skittles. I think personally.
Oh, especially Casius. My God, that'd been awesome.
And Groundhog as well, because it could trample over them without getting stuck on the barrels.
No, you say that, but then Victor got stuck on barrels. Now the ground clearance are like 50 meters as well. So.
Sure. Good
point. I think Victor broke down. Victor's that rubbish. I can't tell which one it happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, then this is one of the funniest. It's a bit like sort of like every tag team battle ever. How nobody obeys the rules for about 2 seconds and gives up.
Everyone's like, we'll follow the rule. Ah, nah, stop it. It's just
what was the point? What was the point of the rules if nobody was going to follow them? I love that. I just found it so like there wasn't. I don't think it was a single. I think it might be only like one out of the entire time they ever did it where the rules actually were followed like all the time. Apart from that, like no, it just like as soon as one robot like got immobilized to one team, all the teams just started attacking each other. That was always happening, and brilliant. But this and the football got set on fire. The best highlight of the football ever.
Yes.
I mean, honestly though, nothing will ever compete in terms of a goal to Velociraptor's goal in Series 3.
Oh, that was amazing. That was so suave. It was unreal. I mean, Jesus.
I mean, I think I mentioned like when I was on on Sam's one for the last heat before Heat 5 of the 2016 series, and obviously Ironside 2 was there. And I mentioned, and it still stands, that Velociraptor was one of those robots that it kept competing, but its only highlight was the first time it ever appeared. Wow.
Yes.
And it scored a goal, a very good goal, considering the fact it's got a very thin front. It still managed to score a goal. Matilda Cow passed it to it and just got lucky and went straight into it, while Demolition Demon was just derping around.
Demolition Demon didn't even get to the ball, did it? He just forward and was like, nah, mate, I'm getting
I don't think we saw any of that thing in that entire battle. But this football, on the other hand, was an absolute shambles. It was like the soccer riots, basically. This was a riot. This was a riot in Robot Wars form. The House Robots didn't care. So Spider-Man sets fire to the ball. Matilda just attacks Groundhog because it's doing nothing. Wizard breaks down. Sting breaks down, and the two competent robots actually make a goal. What else was going to happen? Honestly, what else was going to happen in this entire battle apart from maybe like Groundhog just somehow scoring a goal like Elvis? We just sort of got to the point where Elvis. I mean, I named the thumbnail Elvis' crap of football because they had Sergeant Mash had to help it get it into the goal because Millian Bug broke down. It got to that point where just the House Robots felt sorry for the contestants.
Yes.
But anyway, that was a great football match, and unfortunately, because Sting broke down before I also said Wizard. It's too hard. It's too easy. See, it's too easy. Even perfect people like me mix it up.
You can't be perfect for Lancaster. So...
I could just turn this off right now and just edit Sam in here. You're nothing without me with your something subscribe.
I've got more subscribers than you have. Thank you very much.
I'm gaining more compared to you though.
Mate, I have a fan mode of War series. You don't. Oh.
I did, but I didn't like it because I decided to do something that was actually profitable. So we'll just start fighting on Jeremy Kyle. You'll see us tomorrow. We'll be on that show. But yeah, nothing happened really in the football. It's just a pants event, this one. And this is saying something by Series 2 trial standards. This was a pants. It was funny. It was sort of, it was the equivalent of Willie McCheese's battle in Series 4, or just nobody caring. But at the same time, it didn't make for a good It didn't make for a good competition.
No.
But anyway, Sting went out. Very unfortunately, because I think Wizard probably would have gone out if Sting had stayed alive a bit longer. And yes, the battles. First of all, Casius versus Wizard. Who do you think was going to win this one? Seriously.
Well, you've got a robot that has got lots of speed, lots of power, low ground clearance at the front when it's not dipping up off the floor. Against a round robot that's top heavy and wobbles a lot.
And also breaks down every 2 seconds. Yes, this is perfect. And unsurprisingly, Casius just rammed into it, hit it a few times, went in the CPZ, and it broke down.
Yes.
Well done. And also, I think, did the chain fall off? I forget. Was that different about? I think of Hardvark, perhaps. I think it's chain.
No, the Hardvark style, yeah.
Yeah, because for some reason Rex Scarrett, that's one thing he could never get right until Series 3 is that chains kept falling off in his robots for some reason. But yeah, this time it didn't happen, and there's not much else to say about this fight really. Just Casius just beat Wizard pretty easily.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is the problem with these particular battles in this heat. Honestly, apart from the heat final, nothing really memorable happens.
Yeah.
In the battles, and speaking of which, Groundhog against Loco. Again, who was going to win this? I wonder. The robot can actually drive well, has decent speed, decent traction, decently low to the ground. A large front to push robots, or a robot that's as I said before, a gangly long legs on stilts with omni wheels.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is just another typical. Oh look, an inch of you went into the PPZ. We must now rape you. That was literally the House Robots.
It was.
And oh look, Inzipit. There we go. As good old. What was his bloody name? Whatever it was. Eric Corton, the commentator of the Dutch Robot Wars series. in the pit, and there you go. That's my Dutch impression. I hope you enjoyed. I can't speak Dutch. Sorry.
It was magical. But
Actually, it's world's greatest commentary though. Technical fucking knockout. Sorry.
No. My favourite one was someone got flipped on the arena flipping. He goes, "Fly like an eagle," for no reason. I just find it. But the one thing I do like about this fight, the only thing that was funny about it, actually two things. One, I love how Groundhog fell in the pit. I don't know why. It just kind of just hang off the edge and just kind of flopped in. Just the way it was built, it just had to just kind of tip right over into the pit as opposed to just falling in. And it was like a cow tipping, it was like that. Just got pushed straight in. And the second, and also Matilda again was the one who seems to have a thing against Groundhog for some reason. I don't know why.
Yes.
Maybe because Sir Killalot, he quote unquote took out Sir Killalot, so they thought, oh god, keep attacking this thing.
I've got it. They're both like pig things, Groundhog.
I see.
She's jealous. She's jealous. Pig thingy.
Jealous.
So she's like, nah, mate. There's only one room. There's only room for one hog in this place. There we go.
And the other thing I quite liked is right at the very beginning of the battle, I love the little angle they had. The angle was pretty funny with the Loco underneath the Groundhog. That's how big it was. You could fit Loco under it in a certain camera shot. That was brilliant.
That was pretty awesome.
Apart from that, the battle was pretty boring, really.
Yeah. Again, this is just literally this case of, oh look, an interview's in. Let's get you in that pit, lad.
Now the heat final actually has something quite interesting about it. Not the actual battle. The battle was just a bit of pushing until Loco got flipped over. Inevitable.
It didn't even get flipped over, really. I mean, it just went up its ramp.
No. The flipper actually did push it over, though.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, because if you actually watch the thing, you'll see it goes on the ramp. It gets stuck on the ramp, and then it gets stuck initially, and then Casius lifts it up with the final push. I mean, it might have fallen over anyway, but it made sure with the flipper. But the only thing interesting about this fight is that this is a rematch in Series 3. We have Casius 2 against Dundee, and it ends exactly the same way.
Yes.
Which is unfortunate. Longer, it was well more... I mean, Dundee was a good robot. It just got unlucky against Casius.
Good robot. Very unlucky draw there. But I honestly think, right, if you took Dundee and Excalibur and put them in Heat P... Those would have been the Heat finalists.
Maybe. Them or Scarab if it didn't fall on the spikes. Or Spidsy for having terrible radio problems like Series 3 always has. But we'll get to that. Yes, we will. But
something else happened in the Heat final. Didn't the House Robots also get attacked by Monsieur Casius?
Oh, because Casius always attacks the House Robots, yes. It got worse off in Series 3 when it got punctured right through its lifter. Which is pretty funny, actually. It's like, it shows you how... Actually, the armor was worse in Series 3. Come to think of it. Yeah. That's kind of weird. Downgrade your armor. But, because Lexan is not as good as metal. That is obvious. But, apart from that, really, that was most of the fight, really. It's just the fact there's this weird rival that seemed to have appeared out of nowhere. I feel sorry for Dundee. I mean, we'll talk about more Dundee when we actually get to the heat, but I'll say briefly, I like the interestingness of the weapon. Little kind of jaw that crushes down with a saw in it. But... It's just a shame it just got against a robot that was. I mean, it was had really good speed actually. It's like on par with Casius. It had like good speed, good driving. Just got unlucky. One flip ended it all. Really. And
that is the shame.
It just got a lucky hit. A bit like how a Manic Mutant just drove on top of Gravedigger for no reason.
That was pretty stupid.
It was because they were beating Gravedigger pretty easily, and they just went, oh no, just give up. Why not? Because Gravedigger was pretty rubbish because of the fact that it was so slow. You had to drive onto the robot to actually end it. I love that. But this heat final was it was a one-way street, unfortunately, unless Casius somehow lost a chain and fell in the pit or something like it does in Series 3. But yeah, the better robot won. But as I said before, I like Loco. I kind of don't hate any robot in this entire heat. I kind of like it.
Yeah, I think they're all good. I think, well, not good, but I think they're all enjoyable machines, and I respect all of them, really, to be honest.
I respect every robot that goes in. I'm picky. When it comes to me, whenever I say a robot's bad, I usually talk about design as opposed to the actual team or how much effort and all that. I know everything of effort. I couldn't bother making a robot. So I'm glad you all did it for me and made some entertainment for us and what we're talking about right now.
Yes.
But it's the fact, I'm very picky.
I respect every robot that enters. I just don't like all of them.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I think I don't think I'm a very technical person. I look at design as opposed to the actual how good it is. Like, a robot could be really rubbish, but have a really good design.
Yeah.
And then the opposite, a bit like Groundhog in some ways, and the other way around, it can have a really good robot with a terrible design. Like, maybe this is controversial. This is controversial. I might not say it. Steg 2. I'm just gonna say that. Controversial.
Yeah,
I think I don't know.
Where are you coming from?
We'll get to it, but I just thought Stegosaurus was better. But anyway, I think that's the end. That's the end of this.
That is the end. That's the end, and it. Oh wow, that's it. I thought, good to be back again.
Indeed. So as you know, Anderson likes to do his little out of 10s. I don't do them, but he does. So what would you give this out of 10 overall?
6 out of 10.
6.
So.
Fair enough.
We forgot one thing that's also very important about this heat.
What's that?
Matilda's spark cannon appeared.
Oh, that stupid thing. Yeah. Oh, that was. Oh, I completely forgot about that thing. Yeah, it was just some sparkler attached to Matilda base. That's all it is. That's all it essentially is. And
it's literally just a pyrotechnic.
The only other time I remember it appearing was in next heat with All Talk.
Yeah, basically
that was it.
She was basically just like
farted.
Blowing her, blowing her snot.
Essentially, yeah. Essentially, the chainsaw was the fart bit.
Yeah, Growler's flamethrower had a flamethrower attached to its rear end, so it looked like it was farting fire. It's quite funny.
He'd just been to the Indian. That's what he did.
Yeah.
But 6 out of 10. I would probably, if I was forced to make a number, I'd probably give it like a 7, honestly, because it just was pretty standard. But by Series 2 standards, probably in the top 5.
Oh yeah, it was
nothing
standard
bad.
heat, and it was the debut of a pretty legendary robot. That's what I mean. Our average, in my opinion, is 5.
Yeah,
because it's in the middle, and then obviously that little bit, that little extra, just added it up to 6.
Yep, it was. I've got any suggestions what this episode could be called? By the way, just out there.
Flippin' good fun.
I like it. Flipping good fun it is. And also, I'm gonna try and get the thumbnail Groundhog being picked up by Sir Kill a lot. Hopefully, if I can get a good quality image of it. If not, I'll have to just pick something that has Casius on it or something. I always try to make the thumbnail related to the title, even though for one for Mace's Heat, even though Mace is technically not in the thumbnail, I thought it made more sense to name it after the terrible death track incident. Because forwards is the new backwards. Out now.
Badum Tish.
Yes, it is. Briefly for next heat, I'm going to say now is Anderson's favourite heat of Series 2, Heat I. It is. Just thought I'd let you know because it's very rare to hear favourite and Anderson in the same thing as Series 2, but it's true. He has a favourite. I suppose it's like picking, your favourite crap throughout the week, in equivalent, really. But this one was not a bad one. It's not a bad heat. It's not my personal favourite. My personal favourite heat is probably Panic Attack's heat, to be honest with
you. Yeah.
Because I really like Panic Attack. But at the same time, yeah. So briefly, next week we have King Buxton, obviously the King Bee whatever. Insert random word next to King Bee here. It was powered, then it was remixed for some reason. I don't know why it was remixed about it, but they should have had some remixed tune for him to enter into. But
what they should have done is they should have for decorative purposes put under the perspex at the top of the robot there's a disc jockey section.
Yeah. Also, I'll say briefly I love Simon Harrison. He's great. A lot of people forget he's one of the longest serving roboteers. Everyone forgets Simon Harrison because a lot of people forget King Buxton, so just see it as a robot that kept appearing at the same time. But no, I like him. I loved it. I love this guy.
He's up there with the Pritchard boys.
He is actually, and
Kane Aston.
Yeah, it's true actually. Yeah, he's been there. And also and John Reed.
Yes, John Reed's been around for a long time.
So many old buggers that we love. And then
we might as well say Trevor Wright as well. I mean, Series 3 onwards.
Yeah, definitely. Then we have RoboDoc, which is 101.0. This is nothing like 101. It's just a massive World War I tank thing.
Yep.
Pretty cool. I like it. Also, this is a random little thing for you. One of the few times I've seen a black person on a team. I don't know why. Is it me or there's not?
Yeah,
there's barely.
That's being racist. No,
it's not. It isn't being racist. I'm just pointing out. I just find it strange.
I'm just trying to think now. Apart from
there's one on Scotter's Revenge. There was a
Scotter's Revenge.
There was actually one of the kids from Demolisher
Supernova.
In Series 1.
Supernova and Oblivion. Obviously,
it was a kid from Demolisher in Series 1. I think I remember saying.
Yeah.
I think he drove it a little bit every now and then. And yeah, I think there's not been that many. I don't know why. It's weird because Craig Charles is like the host, yet you don't see too many black people on the show. I just find it weird. I don't know. I'm not even making a racist argument. I'm just curious why there isn't many. Supernova's the only Asian team. like all Asian team in the entire series
much,
ever. Which is I just find it weird. I just find it weird. I just thought I'd point that out. I'm not even saying anything about BBC or Reddit. I just don't care. I'll just find it an odd occurrence. I don't see him very often. Then we have Prometheus, which
existed.
And Joe also existed. Rottweiler.
Oh God, Rottweiler. Oh, God.
I've got some things to say about Rottweiler. None of which are actually about the robot. Don't worry. But I don't hate it. All Talk, which I think really went downhill after series 4 onwards. Such a shame because series 2 and 3 All Talk, I love both of them, especially the series 3 one. And then what you're doing with Small Talk, and then Fighting Talk and Hippopotamus can just go to hell. Seriously, that's stupid. Yeah. And then Cruella, because Philip Martin can't drive, and guess what? He can't drive again.
Yeah, and he's been joined by the driver of WYSIWYG
who also
couldn't drive.
I can't tell if she either couldn't drive because she was bad at driving, or because she was told to because of producing robot. You know, because she was a stock robot.
Yeah, true.
You thought I was going to make a woman driver joke, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
No, I wasn't. I'm not that. See, I'm now a racist and a sexist. Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Oh, and homophobic. Don't forget that as well.
Sorry about that. Actually, I'm not sorry. I don't care. But because I wasn't being. I think it's time to end this before we start.
This controversial episode. Yeah.
We start offending every person.
Should we attack vegans and animal rights activists next?
Bloody vegans are what they like, not eating eggs. Oh, hate them. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I just don't give a shit. Anyway, this was.
I wonder what they would do if they saw a battle with Robo Chicken in it. Oh God.
Oh,
anyway.
Well, Series 3 is the quote-unquote Animal Farm series, I like to call it. So we have Robo Chicken, Robo Cow.
Do we look into it? Literally,
almost.
Apart from, I think it was Heat.
Actually, it might be Panic Attacks Heat.
Yeah, I think it was Panic Attacks Heat. It was the only Heat without an animal-themed robot. I mean, even then it had a spider on it. So it's arachnid.
I don't think it counts. I think it has to be based on an actual animal as opposed to be just. I mean, it's like Purple Predator. It's just an animal. It's not really anything. Just generic predator.
Yeah.
It had a Yoda on it, so that counts. But anyway, this was the most controversial episode ever, with the least controversial robot on it. Yep. I'm Jimjamatic, signing out.
And I'm Anderson 9132, and I'm probably going to go get pissed and slap up some hose. See you later.
It's Friday, if you couldn't tell. See you then.
Bye.